Here are the last three problems for the study guide for Algebra A, test for quarter 3. And the seventh problem is asking us to graph a quadratic. And so this quadratic, we look at the y-intercept first. And so you see there's no x terms. So if there's no x term, this right here is the y-intercept, which it always is. It's the constant is always the y-intercept for a quadratic here. But it also is the vertex because there is no x value. So it starts right there, positive 2. Notice it's plus 2, so it starts up 2 spaces. Now the parent graph goes this way. This is a negative. I'm going to rewrite it over here. I'll write it down below, I guess. Y equals negative 1 times by x squared. So the minus sign represents negative 1 being multiplied by this value. When you square a 1, either positive or negative, so I square positive or negative 1, I end up getting 1, but then multiplying by a negative, and that's why it forces me down. So over 1 space brings you down 1 space. Over 2 spaces, either to the right or to the left, is going to end up bringing us down 4 spaces because we're multiplying by that negative. So over 2 spaces from the vertex, down 4. And then we put the 2 dots right there, and we've got our parabola. So that's all you're doing for number 7 is sketching a parabola. And looking at the next one here, we're just solving an equation. Remember that if you see a minus sign in parentheses, always put a negative 1 and distribute. So we've got a 5 minus n minus 3 equals, over here when I distribute this, I end up with a 3n plus 6. So I go ahead and do some work there. I've got to combine some like terms. I got a 5 here, a negative 3 here. Remember, a common mistake people end up making here is they'll do an opposite operation on the same side of the equal sign. Only do an opposite operation when you go from one side to the other side. So in this case, 5 minus 3 makes 2 minus n all equals 3n plus 6. So from this point, do some opposite operations. I'll go ahead and subtract the 2 from all sides, subtract the 3n as well at this stage, and I'll combine some like terms. So here I have the same sign, so I end up adding, makes a negative 4n equals 4. 6 minus 2 makes the 4. And from that point, I'm just dividing by the negative 4, and I'll get my answer there. So here we have n equals negative 1. Well, this next one is an absolute value problem. So remember, once you've isolated the absolute value, there's two numbers 5x plus 2 could end up making to make 27. Either 5x plus 2 could either equal 27, or it could also equal a negative 27. So we've got to solve two equations at the same time. So here I'm going to go ahead and take away the 2 from all sides, remembering those operations. If it's the same sign, you end up adding these two numbers. And on the other side, I end up actually subtracting because they're opposite in sign. That makes 25. So when we do the work there of division of 5, we end up with 1 is a fraction, 1 is an integer. That's okay. You just leave the answer in terms of the improper fraction, and I'm fine with that answer. So negative 29 fifths and 5, that's what we get when we do this division here, are the two solutions. If we want to put it in parentheses or braces, you can, and that would be your answer. So those are the types of problems you're going to end up seeing on this week's test. Good luck.